We've all heard that we only use a small percentage of our brain. But research now shows that we actually use 100% of our brain. But the parts of our brain that are the most evolved, that give us joy and confidence and clarity and even give us the sense of consciousness and awareness, we're only using about 5% of the potential of that part of the brain. My name is Dr. Steve, and while I'm not a rocket scientist, I do have a PhD in elementary particle physics, and I'm a master facilitator of a technique called higher brain living. A higher brain living is a gentle touch protocol for using the natural energy system in the body to send a surge of energy to the prefrontal cortex, to wake it up and flip the switch in the brain from lower brain dominance, which causes stress and anxiety and worry, to higher brain dominance, where you feel joy, you feel clarity, you feel confidence. Now, what you're about to see is really remarkable and even wild, but it is scientific and it's proven. Higher brain living is a gentle touch protocol for engaging the higher brain, for energizing it. The body contains a system of energetic pathways and energy that have been known for millennia. The energy has been called by many different names: chi, ki, kundalini, subtle energy, prana, and the pathways in the body have been called many things: meridians, pathways, nadi points. And I'm going to engage those pathways to send a surge of energy to Christina's higher brain. Now, Christina has had over 22 sessions. She's gone through the Fearlessly Authentic Life programs. And what you're going to see is that response, a response that is consistent through session to session. The first thing that happens when the higher brain engages is it makes a demand to the body to send more energy to the higher brain. In order to have that amount of energy, it needs oxygen. So what you see is a salutogenic breath. It's a breath that Christina's not trying to take. It's an automatic feedback mechanism. You're also going to see a phenomenon called a salutogenic wave in her body. This wave is a stress dumping mechanism engaged by her higher brain to turn off that lower brain response and dump some of the stress that's stored in her body. So I'm going to start making these contacts into the pathways in her body. I just want you to notice where her breath is moving her body right now. It's shallow right through here, and as I start to make those contacts, you're going to notice a change in that breath. So here we go. First, I'm going to make a contact into the back of the knees, back of the neck, sacrum, knees, back up to the occiput, and then once again in the sacrum. I just want you to notice, I already sent the signal to her higher brain. Now, she's had many sessions, so her body already knows that her higher brain's engaging. Now, if you listen, you can hear the breath, and you can clearly see the salutogenic response in her body. Again, she's not trying to make this happen. This is not a trance state. This is not hypnosis. She's completely aware of what's happening. She's just allowing it to happen. It's a feedback mechanism of her own higher brain, dumping stress through this wave motion that you see, stretching her connective tissue, dumping the stress, and the breath is being used as oxygenation for her higher brain. So it becomes a feedback loop. More oxygen, more energy, more oxygen, more energy. Christina, would you please sit up with your legs on that side of the table? Hear that breath continues to flow. The breath is the sign that our higher brain's engaged. You also notice that there's an opening in this area. The heart begins to open. In higher brain living, we connect that higher brain with the higher heart so it can form a complex such that instead of 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = 100. When you're connecting these two up, the rules of the game for you completely change. Notice how open and expansive this posture is. She has no fear right now. Her higher brain is engaged. Her lower brain is off. She does not care what you're thinking, if this looks weird or if this looks strange. Christina, would you please now lie down face up with your head on this end of the table? Great. Okay. Continue to watch this amazing response in her body. Again, she's not trying to make this happen. She's in full salutogenic response. Her higher brain, the part of the brain designed to make change, is engaged and awake. When Christina comes in, she gives me resolutions for her life, resolutions that she created for herself. And when she says them while she's in this state, it anchors that statement of action required to give you the life that you desired into the higher brain. And when she says it in her life, her higher brain turns on like a turbocharger. And that concludes this demonstration. I've worked with hundreds of clients in over thousands of sessions. And what you see in the client's response is sustainable and reliable and consistent. Now, what you saw was just 5 minutes of what's normally a 45-minute session of engaging the higher brain. And it's part of a 22-session program where week by week, we take the action steps using a guidebook with high-end maps and strategies for taking this new highly powered brain into their life and directing their life at what they care about most, to have the life that they desire. Now, to begin your journey, go to hblstephenhirone.com. Get unstuck today so that you can live a life to its fullest potential.